Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with a Simpler Stocks free video for May 6, 2016. It's about 20 minutes after the close. Basically, today was one of those wait and see moments. Right now, we have the ES is down 3 points, NASDAQ down 975, underperforming again, which I'll get to in a minute. Russell down 590. Bonds up another $1.04. Vance decline about even in there. Crude oil up a little. Was up a lot more on worries that the fire in Alberta, Canada would start affecting the oil sands production. This was up over $2. Gold up only 4. Was up at one time over 10. Transport's another warning sign down another 88. Now, one thing I want you to realize in here is the Nikkei up 140. But theoretically, their market doesn't open, I don't think, till tomorrow. So I'm very curious to see how it acts in there. So just so you know, a couple of things I'm watching in here. One is up, as you see in here, you see ENDP. One of the themes we're seeing with a lot of these stocks is when they have awful patterns already and they have out of the money put action already, that usually if you get gigantic options, even if they're out of the money, usually it's going to go in the direction of the prevailing trend. So check out ENDP. I'll show this before anything. We talked about this in the live chat. Check this out before you look at the stock. Stock closed at $26.59. 13,000 of the 23s traded. That means the stock had to go down 15% tonight just to break even. Well, now look at a chart. And now go to style, go to settings. And isn't it amazing? It's just a coincidence that all those people knew something. Just a coincidence that the stock just went down 4 points or about 15%. I know that's a total coincidence. There's no inside information. But honestly, all kidding aside, that's one thing I try to bring to this site is to point out unusual option activity. Here's another one. So just so you know, couple of other things to watch in here, though, is we watch in our premium site, we look at unusual option activity all the time. And a lot of times it works. We'll get to that in a second. Number one, ESs. I want to get to the overall market in here. ESs down 3 points, like I said. NASDAQ down again. And I want to make this clear of how dangerous this is getting. Look at the NASDAQ on the right. Realize where the NASDAQ is. It's almost at its 50% retracement. I know I mentioned this last night. If the SPX ES has got to its 50% retracement, that would be down around 1950. What do you notice? That's 100 points. This is about 60 points. One big difference. This index is half the value of this. That's how stretched this is. Another way to look at it is if you go to style and you go reset to chart default, you go in here and you show the 200. I love to use the 200, not as blindly saying, oh, that's support or resistance like everybody on CNBC, because like you see on here, it didn't work. I use it on a relative basis. Look where the NQ is relative to its 200 and the ES is relative to its 200. Notice the dangerous situation that this is way under the 200 and the ES is about 35, 40 points over it. Now, you might say, well, maybe it's an anomaly, only one exchange, and I know one product, and I showed this yesterday. Check out the transport decisively under it now. Check out the Russell, RUT, decisively under it. In fact, one of the only indexes that isn't under its 200 is the ESs. Now, where does that come in handy? Because if you thought the banks were at support and you should load up on the banks, don't forget, the banks are in the SPX, in the ES, the S&P 500. If this is going to work of ultimately achieving this objective, most stocks are going to go down. Probably 85% of stocks are going to go down. And how is the ES is going to go down? Facilitate that? The biggest stocks in the SPX go down. That includes the Goldman Sachs. That includes even Apple, is in the S&P 500. JP Morgan. That's why when you combine market savvy of watching these divergences and try to combine it with charts, it can become a really special thing. but it also might keep you out of trouble from trying to buy Goldman Sachs at support when this might have another 40-point move down. So that's a pretty neat thing. Now, I want to just show you what we offer on the Simpler Stock site. Last night, I did a free webinar on ARBs. Hardly anybody ever talks about stock ARBs anymore. So what we do in here, see this? I'm going to show you what I do in here. We have all these things in here that you get for your money. So for your monthly subscription, you don't pay extra for anything. You get the chat room where I'm on from 9 to 10 Eastern. You get the premium videos, which are a little more in-depth than what you're hearing now, a lot more in-depth. You get your email alerts. You get your forum where we banter ideas back and forth all day. We have these meetups where I did a class last night like this. Watch out for ARBs. I know that looks like abs. It's ARBs. I didn't show any workout videos, just so you know. But the whole idea in here was how to do stock takeover deals, how to look for them. Now, one thing I'm really into is I like to go on what's working now. And the whole idea is what's working now is unusual option activity, but I really like to point out other money-making ideas so when the ideas present themselves, you know what we're talking about. The other thing we show in here, and this goes to the next thing, is the ideas. I post a lot of stock trades at night of chart ideas. I post a lot of index charts, at least 6 of both of these. Usually I try to pick out the best ones. The other thing I do is unusual option activity. This is just part of your subscription. A lot of places charge about $400 a month. And you know what they do? They sit and they pump out about 50 different unusual options a day. But the problem is you get so many, you don't know how to trade it. They don't combine it with charts. They don't combine it with news. They just pump them out. I try to show you only the ones that seem to matter. Let me just show you something from today. Here you go. Put buying in LOCO. Polo, I don't even pronounce it right, but LOCO. So I was saying this, and I hope I'm not going to make a fool out of myself if the stock's up after tonight. Earnings tonight. I don't normally point out options on cheap stocks, but notice the bearish trend line that can be drawn on a 195. Then what I do is I pointed out the option activity. Look at these puts being bought, even though the open interest was only 190. And then I show the time in sales and show how aggressive these put buyers were. Now let's just go to Polo Loco. And like I said, I hope I'm not making a fool out of myself in here and the stock's straight up. So let's put it over here. Let's put it on a 2-minute. It closed at 13.17. Literally, maybe I'll redo the video if I'm dead wrong on this. So let's go in here and see if it makes a difference. There you go. We have a winner. So it did go down 50 cents. It's not a lot. You buy deep in the money. You buy those dollar puts that everybody else was buying. Buying these right here. And you buy these 14 puts like everybody else around $1.05. They're now $1.35 in the $1.25 in the money. So just to let you know, this does work. And I do try to point these out, and that was a good one. The worst part is it's still relatively thin. This could go a lot lower. Let me just show you on a chart. We were trying to show this on a 78-minute chart about this measuring objective right here. Let's see if it goes down another $1.80, which would put it under 12. Very interesting in there. I'm really excited to see what happens. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this. Like you know, there's a $7 trial for 30 days. Tomorrow the video might get out a little late. I'm actually traveling to Austin to our home office, but I'm also taking my son to it's a special event called DreamHack Austin. First time it's been in the U.S. Really cool stuff. So everybody take care. I will talk to you later.